Thank you for joining Catholic Gen X, where Bruce Willis was not only an actor, but also a musician.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
You remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, he's no David Hasselhoff.
Well, he wasn't as big in Germany.
The Hoff was
No
huge
one
in Germany.
was as big in Germany as David Hasselhoff.
Bruce Willis would play the harmonica for opening, what was it? Hard Rock Cafes, and he'd have concerts and things like that too. And I saw a video of him from probably the late 80s, I assume. This is going to surprise you. Not so good.
No. But you know who's a legit musician is the comedian.
Eddie Murphy.
No.
Oh, yeah. I know. Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Party all the time, party all the time. Steve Martin, we've talked about this, I think, on the podcast before. He got his start on the Smothers Brothers. And he actually played banjo on the Smothers Brothers.
Really?
So he has won, like, all the acting stuff, but he's also won Grammys for his banjo.
Okay.
And I believe he's won some writing awards for his novels.
Yes.
Okay.
Real Renaissance man.
I've heard him play the banjo. He's very talented.
He won, a while back, he won Bluegrass Album of the Year.
Wow.
He's got a fine singing voice. Like, not probably an award-winning singing voice.
But good for bluegrass.
Well, that's the beauty of bluegrass. You don't have to have a...
No.
Alison Krauss is an exception.
She's very talented.
But,
look at Bob Dylan.
He doesn't
that's
sing
a fair
bluegrass.
point.
You understand that, right?
He's just a bad singer.
He's just a bad singer. That's
but
the
an
point.
excellent lyricist.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story of the hurricane?
No.
Is that a song?
Yeah. It's how it starts, the story of the hurricane. It's about a black boxer who was... It's a true story. They made a movie about it. Denzel Washington played the hurricane.
Oh, but it was great.
But
He's a very good actor.
It's about a black boxer who was framed for a liquor store robbery and went to prison. And the refrain is, but he could have been the champion of the world in Connorsville. Come on.
So many things.
It's too late to be picking at me like this.
So, Tom, most underrated 80s movie.
Oh, underrated? Mm-hmm. Big Trouble in Little China.
That's actually a really good movie. I'll agree with that.
That is a good movie.
Then maybe it's not underrated if you guys both say it's a good movie.
That doesn't mean that it isn't underrated.
I mean, but who's watched it in the last 30 years?
I have.
Well, okay, you. But, I mean, that would be like, it's not a classic that gets repeated. It's kind of faded.
I agree with that.
Right.
I agree with that. I could also be persuaded to say The Golden Child, but I'm not totally sure that's an 80s
I don't
movie.
think I put that. That sounds as good as Big Trouble in Little China. It was good because
I
of Eddie
agree.
Murphy. That was kind of it. I mean, if you're going to say that, then you might as well be saying like The Last Dragon. And
So I also, I was debating in my mind saying Big Trouble in Little China or Howard the Duck. But I think
awful.
Howard the Duck is properly rated.
That's
Yes,
awful.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's a bad movie. What was her name? The actress, Caroline the City actress. She was Brat Pack, I think.
Yeah.
Leah Thompson?
Lee Thompson.
Lee
Yes,
Thompson?
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Father Peter, what would you pick?
I'm not a huge movies person. There's nothing I can say without horribly humiliating myself.
Oh, no, I can speak for you, maybe.
All right, good.
That young Sherlock Holmes movie. That seems like one you'd be down with.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That wasn't too bad.
No.
Yeah. That's not probably quite British enough, though, for your taste.
I was hoping you weren't going to say something absurd like Goonies, because we would all say Goonies is properly rated as one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely. Speaking of my penchant for British literature and movies, I was texting somebody yesterday or the day before, and I just texted a couple of things, and I was like, why do I sound like Queen Elizabeth? Like, I'm texting in this weird
I have an idea why.
In this weird sentence structure, like very, oh, dear chap, come and have another gin and tonic.
So an 80s movie I've never seen that would be up your alley is Chariots of Fire.
Oh, Chariots of Fire.
I've never seen it.
I never watched that.
And, that's another movie. It was probably properly rated when it came out, because I think it won a couple of Oscars. Best soundtrack, and maybe best movie, I don't know. But But that's another one that's completely faded from people's awareness.
Except everybody recognizes that theme music.
They recognize the theme.
Yeah.
But only people our age. Like, if you played that for Simon, he'd be like, what's this?
Yeah.
Our parents would probably recognize it, like that generation, too.
Oh, yeah. Dr. John was going to say Risky Business.
No. Actually, I would pick...
Was that Tom Cruise's big break?
He was in...
I would say All the Right Moves was probably his big break.
Yeah.
He was
probably is a very underrated movie.
Yeah.
And it's also got Leigh Thompson in it.
He was in Outsiders. He was in Toy Soldiers.
Yeah, but...
I don't think he was in... Toy Soldiers is the one about the military academy?
Yeah.
I don't remember him being in that.
It was a lesser part. You're right. I would say Major League.
Tom Cruise wasn't in Major League.
No, I'm saying like that would be my underrated Major League.
Okay.
That's a good sports movie.
No, it's a great movie. I'm just trying to think who underrates that. I think everybody agrees that's a good movie.
Everybody likes that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I might be the only person in the world that remembers this, because I've said this to people before and nobody else remembers this. There was a great scene that was in the trailer that wasn't in the movie, which is pretty odd.
Yeah.
There's a scene after the game where Tom, is it Berenger? Mm-hmm. His character and Charlie Sheen's character at a bar, or having dinner, and Charlie Sheen says he's upset about this home run he gave up. And Tom Berenger said that ball wouldn't have been out of a lot of parks. And Charlie Sheen says, name one. And he, without hesitation, goes, Yellowstone.
I didn't know that was in the trailer, not the movie.
I don't think it's in the movie.
I don't remember that. That's a good movie.
A lot of good lines from that movie.
Yes. Yep. Every time you go to a baseball, softball game, just a bit outside.
Oh, we in meetings all the time, if there's a list, somebody will inevitably say, this guy's dead. So, well, then mark him off the list. You have no idea what we're talking about, do you? About Hoosiers.
Is Hoosiers? I was wondering, is Hoosiers an 80s movie?
Yeah.
It is.
86.
Yeah. Oh, that early. Okay.
It's one of Indiana's big claims to fame. We're still trying to tout that 40 years later.
3 Indiana sports movies, right?
Oh, there's more than that, but I know what 3 you're going to name.
Breaking Away.
Yes.
Hoosiers.
Yes.
And Rudy.
Yes.
Right? Those are the 3 big Indiana...
there's another one about the Indy 500 with Paul Newman in the 60s, I think. Can't remember what it's called. It's a racing movie, obviously.
Paul Newman was in a racing movie. I can't remember if the Indy 500 factors in my...
Mm-hmm. It's part of it. It's the whole focus.
There's another one with Robbie Benton. Was that his name? Kind of a big actor in the 70s. It was called One-on-One or Man-to-Man, and it takes place, I think, at Notre Dame.
Okay.
But obviously not because I can't tell you much about it, so...
Yeah, I don't know.
But no, those are probably those are the big 3.
League of Their Own had some shots in Indiana.
Yeah, but I don't think it took place here.
No, but I don't think it was set there, but it was filmed in part in
down
Huntingburg.
in Huntingburg, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So sports movies got me thinking about just anymore now with kids, and my own family's been a part of this too, just how extracurriculars have really become so dominant. It have really become a bit of a religion, I think, in some ways, of what people have gotten into.
I like movies, and I like sports.
Okay.
But generally speaking, I do not like sports movies. Mm-hmm. They're just too cheesy.
Okay, now we're talking about 2 separate things. John's trying to talk about, like...
Yeah, but I'm not ready to give this up yet.
You gotta go the bone eventually, Tom.
Well, so I don't like the way they change the story. Like, Rudy will make me cry, but they don't make me angry because I know it's not the real story.
Right.
I rant. I could be Dr. John tonight, going on my grumpy rants.
Get your typewriter out.
There's still time, Tom. I got a pen and some paper. You can write a handwritten letter. So I've noticed that having, our kids have been in sports and other kinds of extracurriculars and things like that too, is amazing to me, the intensity and the dedication that people give of time, effort, and money for this.
I'm going to argue with you. It's not amazing.
Yes.
It's absurd.
Okay. So, and I'll give an example. Kind of a guy that I know years ago was talking about this, and his son had tried out for a travel team. And this guy had said to me, he goes, John, you won't believe it. My son got an offer in this team. It's like, wow, that's great. Good for him. Good kid. And so he goes, yeah, the coach said that if you actually do everything that I say, that I guarantee that your son will play Division I sports. And I was like...
I know how the story ends.
Yeah, and I was like, so... He goes, isn't that great? I said, well, actually, I have some oceanfront property. Right. We'll go ahead and sell you too. And so I think there is that part of it of almost this kind of, the absurdity, I think, of that too, of where dedicating so much of time, effort, energy, resources to sports. It could be choir, it could be, band, cheerleading, all those kinds of things too, which all that has its place as far as leisure and recreation and things like that too. But it's become something where just seeing parents and being around that a little bit, just kind of how, on one hand, kind of defeated. The other ones are like, this is the best. You're my best new friends for the next 6 months. We're going to hang out. And
I have had the unfortunate experience multiple times of people that I know in my real life who I think are perfectly fine, pleasant people. And I will see them at a sporting event, and I am embarrassed for them because they are not embarrassed for themselves. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, that's just terrible.
Yeah, when you hear third grade sports or whatever, and somebody's dropping F-bombs, yelling about a call for some 13-year-old kid who's the umpire and stuff like that. And we had a situation. A good friend of mine's son was an umpire and probably wasn't the best. Didn't play a lot when he was younger, but grandparents yelling, cussing him out, walking out, kind of chasing to his car. He's probably about 14 years old.
I can tell you a story from my childhood where I was 16 because I was driving. Mm-hmm. I umpired Little League Baseball, and I had a guy in my hometown who was a city cop corner me after a game and was poking me in the chest, telling me I'd never work there again. And then the old guy who ran the league came and ran him off. I mean, here I am.
Right.
I remember, and I still can vividly remember this city cop poking me in the chest about a call I made in a Little League baseball game.
Who do you call when you have to run the police off? You call more police?
He wasn't in uniform.
Okay, so that kind of gave him more of a license to be able to just kind of be a jerk.
But I do think there's something often, not always, but often a bit idolatrous about it, right? That this becomes a bit a worship for people. And that disturbs me.
So what do you think they're worshiping? I think you're right.
I don't know if they're worshiping like the dream, like your buddy who believed that this coach could guarantee a D1 spot for his son. I don't know if they're worshiping like the loss of community. I read an article recently by a conservative thinker who has a young daughter in dance and a young son in baseball, I think. And he's like, this is on the one hand everything I hate, but it's also like a community. Like we are dance parents and we are baseball parents, and we have this pack that we know well, and we exchange carpool and all this stuff with, right? So there may be a little bit of a worship of that ready-made community.
It's like anything, though. I mean, everything's okay in moderation,
right?
Right. Like
right.
John and I, we've been friends. We can tell you exactly how long we've been friends now. It's been 12 years.
Yeah, we went to a hockey game first.
Because our boys became friends in kindergarten.
Yes.
And then when they were in first grade, he and I started to become friends. And so, perfect example, one of my best friends in the world is because our kids were friends.
Right.
Perfectly reasonable way to start a relationship. But when that becomes your whole life,
Tom snubbed me before our sons become, great friends. So, but it's true. I mean, so that part of it of where sports, extracurriculars, really of any kind, can offer a community in the sense of, to your point, Tom, excellent friendships, and where you may not like run into each other and things like that. But then I think I've had the other extreme of where one of our sons played volleyball and we were out of town, and it was like the first, kind of tournament. And one of the dads like, hey, okay, we're going to be drinking down in the lobby and playing cards. Who's coming? It's, no, not me. I'm not going to come. And it's kind of like the forced friendship part that isn't really a friendship.
Yeah.
I think part of it, maybe it's a community because there is dependence. But it's also kind of survival. I mean, do you kind of drink the Kool-Aid
right.
and say, I'm going to be with, all of you, and we're going to make the best of this?
some of it is, we've talked about before, I think in the very first episode, we talked about how bad our parents were as parents.
Sure.
Generationally.
Comparatively, sure.
But we're just as bad. I mean,
Right.
we have turned our entire family life into coddling the child and making sure the child has everything they ever wanted and their dreams cannot be dashed. And individually, we all add to.
Well, then that may be part of what you're saying, Father Peter, the idolatry of where. Then it almost becomes parenting's a new religion. I'm going to worship my children to give them everything they can, which in some ways they're trying to give them opportunities. And I understand that. But it's kind of where little at what cost.
Right.
And it's something where, to your point, Tom, if they get everything, there's no skin in the game. And the tough thing of where you see, I think of any kind of competition or, extracurriculars is where, when you do it often and much, you eventually get to a point of where injuries, burnout, so on. And I'm more familiar with sports, maybe not other kinds of things, but it's kind of where you get a kid to high school and he's been playing baseball at this point, probably solid 8 years, probably 6 of that almost year round, Tommy John surgery, everything else. Or if he could play in college, he's so sick of it.
Right.
Yeah, you're right, but you hear it in other areas. Think of like Bobby Fischer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude lost his mind, right?
Right. I was thinking even of like singers. You can permanently ruin your voice by overtaxing it too young, right? Like athletes.
Yes.
You can end up with very serious consequences.
Or you just don't like it anymore.
Or you just don't like it.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like there are things that I liked 5 years ago that I don't like today.
Right. But I also think I've always liked John that
he's just okay.
Not John. I've always liked the way
I'll
that
work a little harder. It's 2025.
I've always liked the way that John would casually talk about going to mass on weekends where you had sports, right? And you're not doing it to impress your priest friend. You're because he's usually complaining about the mass, but
that's my love language is complaining.
I think of all the families that do that and justify, well, there isn't a church right here, or we'd have to look up a church, or we might miss the team dinner or whatever, and don't go to mass because of travel sports.
That's my biggest stress. Every time that we go somewhere, if it's in town, out of town, and I'll start in with our kids, well, we're going to go to mass, and what is the schedule, and things like that too. And thankfully, where we live or places we've gone, there's been a lot of churches around, which is great. But it's not like the middle of Wyoming,
right?
Where there's probably not per capita a lot of Catholic churches around.
You know what your dream scenario would be?
What's that?
Is if your child got really into bowling, and they had a bowling tournament in the basement of the church in Fort Wayne.
See, I almost called or texted you guys. Our daughter was in a tournament in Fort Wayne. I was like, I hope we get to go to mass at the church. So we were at the cathedral, and I don't think they had the bowling alley.
Could you hear the pins being set?
That's right. That's right.
Did you ever ask Deacon Jim about it? Did you remember?
I forgot. No, and then he went on a cruise, so it must be nice to be a deacon.
So I think, yeah. So yeah.
Where were you last week?
Spain.
And how long had it been since you'd been in Spain when you went this last time?
4 months.
Okay.
Is this like Spain, Indiana, or is it like Rocheville? Where is this place?
And you're going back to Spain when?
I don't know, next January, maybe.
Oh, I thought you were going when you got your second half of your sabbatical this year.
This was the.
Oh, this was the second
week.
half?
Yeah, it's not a half, but.
Oh, I thought you got another month.
No.
You're out of sabbatical.
Yeah.
Well, at this pace, you'll be able to get your sabbatical within the next 10 years.
Right.
So just a couple of days here and there. So I think the other part of this I wonder too, so we've talked about how parents want to give their kids opportunities and maybe at different kinds of costs. As a psychologist, I have to think about it too, of where how much of it is away for the child and his or her interests, but the parents.
If you could see, I'm pointing at John.
Yes, aggressively. So, that part of it becomes something where parents losing their minds, screaming at their kids, all these lessons or whatever, beyond that too. It has to be some extension to the parents as well.
Right.
That they probably can't see. Or, they were injured, they're a senior in high school and never got a chance, to play wherever.
But we've all seen that, right? Like the parent who their kid's not performing well, or they feel like they're getting shortchanged, and somehow it becomes about them personally. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. I get it. I mean, I'm not going to say I've never had similar feelings, but as a parent, it's hard because you want to support what your child wants to do. You also know you have a life perspective that they don't have, so you want to encourage them to excel when children maybe don't always want to put in the effort to excel.
Yes.
But you also have to balance it's their life, not yours, and they have to live their own life and they have to make their own choices. It's hard to balance all those things.
I think you're right. And I think when kids are younger, exposing them to different things so they have things they may not try naturally. And then if they like it, they'll continue. If they don't, they won't. I think that's good. Then you get to a point where kids get older, and typically by high school, where if they want to stick with something, they have to really, because it becomes like work in some ways. So they have like their full-time job, which, as we tell our kids at school. And then the extracurriculars is kind of, part-time things you still have to be committed to as well. And that also makes it hard, not only just going to mass, because what are your priorities? Homework, all these other things too, where I do think that kids can really learn a lot from these kinds of things, but they need to want it to have some like of their own personal motivation.
Well, I think really the saddest thing in all this is the death of the rec league. Mm-hmm. Right? Yes. Like when we were growing up, we all had the rec league we could play in, and those, they exist now, but
we still have, like, there is a CYO high school basketball team.
That's right. And even CYO, like when you get into like the C teams, that's really like the rec leagues we played in. It still exists, but it's not like it used to be.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Usually by junior high, that starts to split. You get kids that play travel, whatever, sometimes maybe around. I agree. I think the CYO part of it, is CYO a national organization? Catholic Youth Organization?
Do you think this is a national podcast?
I've looked this up before. I do not believe it is. I think it's, I don't think so.
We were huge in Albuquerque, Father Peter, so let's make sure.
Don't forget about British Columbia.
Yeah, that's right.
We have a listener in British Columbia.
I'll sure be there later this year,
and you'll play it.
Tom's going to wear, a sandwich board that has a QR code for Catholic Gen X.
Yeah.
So, but I think that part of it, where there is a social aspect. It's not just the parents. The kids, and you do have to learn, particularly if it's not just like your schoolmates, how to get to know other people, like other athletes or other chess players, other singers, cheerleaders, whatever.
Well, and there's this weird like almost military experience. Mm-hmm. Like, the guys I played high school football with, I don't really keep in touch with them anymore, but that's like this shared experience we have. You talk about these guys who are, and I'm certainly not comparing high school football to going to war.
No.
But it's that.
But there's
kind
a pressure. And there's a come together under pressure, even if we're not BFFs, right? Yeah.
Right.
Just like Remember the Titans. You guys are like the best friends at the end. And now when you're a Golden Corral reminiscing about the good old days.
No, I didn't go to the same high school you did. Mm-hmm. So I know I left high school, and I'm living an adult life now.
That's funny if people from the South Side of Indianapolis catch that joke. It's really funny and true. But I think you're right, because if you're committed to something, whatever your interest is, together to go through that, I think it does actually make, a sense of, could be friendships or just a sense of community, doing that. So some of our listeners don't know this about Tom, but you kind of have a lot of experience on the other side of it. It's not only just a parent or former athlete, but also as an official.
This fall was my 26th year. And I will tell you, I gave up doing little kids 20 years ago because the parents were insufferable.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. And it's sad because that's really the level where you need good, seasoned officials. But they don't want to do it because you don't want to put up with it.
So, have you seen a lot of changes in fans and players just since you've been an official?
Some. I think other sports have been worse than football. Football's always had this level of hyper masculine, hyper competitive that's kind of always been there. So I don't think it's got as bad as some of the other sports, but it's certainly, And I'm kind of a grumpy old man. I
Because
acknowledge that.
you don't want to be seen to be crying and complaining at a football game.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think, you see things happening at youth soccer, youth basketball, youth baseball tournaments that, and this could again be back to the evil of the 24-hour news cycle, right? I mean, it could be these things have always happened. We just didn't have CNN and Fox News playing it in a loop. I think sportsmanship is not what it was when I started. I have seen that. I think the dedication to doing the hard work, like no matter what you do in life, the fundamentals are important, right? Like I'm sure when you were in seminary and you're learning to construct homilies, they spent time on the fundamentals.
Right.
People don't do that anymore.
No.
They want to.
He ran track too.
Lettered.
See?
And you worked on the fundamentals of high hurdles, didn't you?
I did. I was terrible at it, but yes.
Yeah, but kids today don't work on fundamentals.
Right.
Because we all want to get to the fun, and so I could keep going, but I don't need to.
Well, it is funny because I went to my nephew's basketball game. It was like semifinals for Sumo Beach City. And so these are like fourth graders. And literally watch these kids. They were really good teams, but just take the ball off the court and basically trying to hit a three. And it's like, just like the NBA.
And a friend of mine who coaches his son pointed this out to me, and now I can't not see it. All those kids palm the ball.
Yes.
You remember when we were kids, that would get called.
Yes.
And now they all do. And I don't know. Things have changed, John, but I've changed also.
Well, that's a fair point. So, what do we think would be good for people to think about? And we're kind of we're identifying some things we've seen personally, maybe just some bigger issues.
So one of my big ones is all the way up to even the college level. The things you will hear people yell at kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is...
It's awful.
It's awful.
And they're already, under enough pressure just competing to what they're doing.
Which I think is part of a bigger piece, and that is the need for perspective.
Absolutely.
Right? That don't yell at the kids, don't force the kids, don't overschedule the kids, right? Like there's a perspective here. For 98% of kids, this ought to be more or less fun, which doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard and you shouldn't learn the fundamentals and all of that, but you're not going to play Division I ball.
No.
Right? And you need to keep a perspective.
From the official's point of view, I think something I've seen creep in that's in society in general is this sense of entitlement.
Yes.
And the way people talk to officials is really from that sense of entitlement. I have seen lots of officials in my years. I've seen really good ones. I've seen really bad ones. I've seen lazy ones. I've seen stupid ones. I've seen it all. I've never once seen an official who cheated. And this idea that fans have that they will yell at an official because they think he's trying to control the outcome of a game is absurd.
Right.
Because I don't care.
Yes.
I'm there to do a job. I'm there because I enjoy watching kids play football and being a part of it, but I don't care who wins. And when you insinuate that this adult man or woman is trying to steer how a fourth grade volleyball game goes.
You don't have money on the game or anything?
Don't care. I've said that. I've said that to a guy before. I'm like, if you call me in 10 minutes, I will not be able to tell you who won this game. I just don't care. But they don't get that.
Right.
They get so enwrapped in this. To me, it seems like entitlement. I could be wrong, but
I think so. And I've seen that just even like athletes where they will expect a foul, they expect a flag, and all this kind of stuff too. And it can't just be like, sometimes the game isn't perfect the way it's called or even played. I think the overscheduling is a real challenge because it's something where kids are so used to being busy, they can't stand to be still.
Right.
They don't know what to do in the quiet. I think that's a real concern. And I think adults, are kind of guilty of that as well. I mean, they learn it from somewhere.
Book plug. Matthew Kelly's newest book, Slow Down to the Speed of Joy, talks about this topic.
Oh, really?
And it's like we've talked about, it's popcorn reading. It's very simple. It's very quick.
I like Matthew Kelly. What he does
but
very
it's,
well.
It takes him a little while to get into the point, but it's worth the read. It's about slowing down. He uses sabbatical early on as an example about people going sabbatical and it ends up not being what it's supposed to be because they overschedule themselves.
Because their bishop cancels it.
He has a bishop, but he's not required to have that kind of obedience.
But I think also with perspective is what we touched on earlier. Like, if these events are overriding your ability, let alone desire, to go to Sunday Mass, then you need to sit down and refigure it. Right?
I agree, and I think that's the most important point. We have to put God first in everything, and if anything else, is not about God, then we're making gods in His place.
I'm a sports guy. Sports has become way too big of a role in our society. I mean, I realized years ago I love the Colts, but if the Colts lose on Sunday, that doesn't change my life on Monday.
Right.
I mean, I still get up, I go to work, and I don't understand it, but it's got it. You see it. I mean,
So I want to introduce something new that we have before we kind of wrap up.
Do we have mail?
So we have fan mail.
Oh.
In response, it's called electronic mail. Have you heard of this? I only handwrite letters.
Is that like when they tap out Morse code?
I think it's kind of like that, but maybe a little bit different. So this is this is in response to our Christmas special.
Oh, excellent! I know.
So, hey John, Father Peter, and that other guy. I appreciate the call out in the last Gen X podcast Christmas special. Your assessment of the Star Wars Christmas special is spot on. It was horrible. I'm actually surprised that it is available for viewing through Disney Plus application. In parentheses, at least it was a few months back. I was certain it would be left to the YouTube Digital Vault versus the Disney/Lucasfilm library. So our fan actually knows a lot. I believe the special character that you're asking your fellow podmates about is Boba Fett. I do believe he got his first official, quote, national audience in a short animated clip included in that holiday special. It is amazing to see how far that character has gone. As always, the podcast is a great listen. I look forward to the next release. Signed, Biff, Star Wars Geek, Star Wars fan.
Excellent.
So I tell you, after that episode dropped, it might have been Christmas Mass. It might have been the Sunday right before Christmas. I don't remember. His wife came up to me after Mass and told me how angry she was with us because we brought that up, and her family had to watch it. He made them watch that after we brought it up.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I owe her an apology. Because it's a really bad TV show.
I heard it in the sacristy. The servers that were made to watch it were not.
Well, it sounds like in 10 years I'll be hearing about it from their kids in therapy.
Yeah.
You see, Dr. John, my dad always made me watch this awful 1970s Star Wars special.
We appreciate you, though, Beth.
Yes, thank you. So if anyone else is interested, you can certainly email us at catholicgenx@gmail.com. We're still waiting for some handwritten letters at P.O. Box 17333, Indianapolis, Indiana 46217. Thanks for tuning in.